I'm 54 years old. I think I'm super good because the first thing I put first in my life is God. You know, because without God, I'm not nothing. You know, and that's what I keep up for. You know what I'm saying? I keep him up front.
Right.
And then everything else follows. You know, well, 2000 he died December. He died December the 16th. Because we had his funeral right before Christmas. And I'll never forget, I think he died December the 15th or 16th. Yep, 2009. My brother was a big guy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And he had really got overweight. He's about 500 and some pounds. And he started having, you know, when you get big like that, you have health issues.
Right.
His lungs was too small for his body. You know, he had a lot of issues, man. You know, I mean, he was a diabetic. And the hospital told us he died from MRSA. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But my brother, when he was in the hospital, he didn't want them to cut on him. And they cut a hole in his throat. And he didn't live a week after that. If it wasn't for my brother, it wouldn't be no me, okay? So, therefore, whatever he done right now is still going on. And before my brother died, I promised him that I would keep his legacy going, okay?
Right.
And that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm trying to keep his legacy going.
How long have you been breeding?
I've been breeding now since, let me see, blood. I've been breeding now for probably about 20 years.
20 years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm 54. I was the first dog. I was blood. My brother gave me blood. And then he placed me with a female named Sugar. Blood was red. I'm trying to get another red when blood was red and Sugar was blue. See, I'm trying to get a red one. I ain't saw no red Panther in years. And that's what I'm aiming at. Blood was red with a black mask and a black streak down his back. He had the gold markers, but he was big. He was big. He was, everybody thought he was the giant dog when they saw him, because he was red. My brother was a main man, And like I said, he made me promise him when he died, because he was very angry, man. He was angry at Gypsy, and things like that. And that's one of the reasons why at his funeral, Gypsy was there. And I told him, I said, for all you people that think the Panther game is over, it's not.
My motive is to provide for people a dog that will keep motherfuckers out of their house.
That's a good motive.
That's my motive.
That is a good motive.
You better believe it. It's a valuable motive. Because see, in the dog world, dope dealers don't pray for you. Smart guys don't pray for you. Other breeders don't pray for you. But when you teach somebody or provide somebody with protection, every time that dog makes somebody walk away, they say, thank God for Gypsy. That's important to me.
Right.
That's my bottom line value.
But, I'm glad that I'm talking to you. I'm glad that that's set straight.
Anybody interested in the Canis Panther or dogs in general would be glad to talk to me. Anybody. Ku Klux Klan members, which I've helped several of with their dogs. I don't care who you are, because you have a common goal to be safe in your home. That is my goal. That is my only goal when it comes to dogs. Besides the hugs and the kisses and the wagging tails.
That's the best part, isn't it?
No.
No, okay.
Good part. Best part is knowing motherfuckers ain't trying to come in my house because I got a dragon in here. Because you didn't come to me with the idea of, hey, Gypsy, I'm really sorry about how this is going.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to set the record straight by exposing the subterfuge, the lies, the conspiracies that were created, and how you were eliminated. I'd like to expose that, Gypsy. Then the full historical documentary needs to be about this attempted coup, because that's what it is.
I'll include that for sure.
No, it needs to be the focus. Because what else is of value? See, everything that we do, say, and think will either create value or destroy value. And you and JD, and I'm not saying you did it maliciously, you may have been misled. You and JD and a few others have tried to diminish, devalue, and destroy value of my name, my participation, my legitimacy in the Canis Panther breed. There's no getting around that. I'll forgive you for that. I'll forgive JD for it.
You know, there's a lot of things Taylor, my brother, wouldn't tell me because he was real secretive. You know, he would tell me, you ask too many questions. You know what I'm saying? Listen to that. But when he got sick, he started explaining a whole lot of things to me. You know how I didn't know who I was because at the time I was gang banging. I was young, you know, in the street, and I'm his baby brother. And he's old enough to be my father. My mama had me at the age of 45. So when my mama had me, he was my father. He went to school for me, and my sister and Shirley went to school for me. That was my parents. I was ashamed because when I was in kindergarten, I got into a fight because my mama got into school for me, and they was like, "Who's that old lady?" Because she had gray hair. She was 50 then, okay?
Right.
And I told my mama, you know, a kid, I didn't mean no harm. I told my mama, "Can you let Shirley come to the school for me? Because everybody else, mama, is young, and you the only, you know, you old, mama, and they, you know, so." And right now that was a cruel thing to say, but kids don't know no better, you know?
Yeah, I know how you feel.
And I'm the youngest out of 10, okay?
Yep.
My older sister named Sister Dobar. After Sister Dobar, the preacher was my brother John, the boxer. After John is Scorpio, the dog trainer. After Scorpio is my sister Shirley. After Shirley is my sister Mills. She died at 47. After Sister Mills is Alla. After Alla is Trish, and I'm the baby, which is Tim. You know, my family is family. We real family. I ain't met no family like this family. We all love each other. We care and share. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I got a big family. I got 76 nieces and nephews.
Damn.
Yeah.
How many of them have Canis Panthers?
I got 2 nieces that got Canis. Some of them like dogs, some of them don't. You know, like Scorpio kids. They've been around dogs all their life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they don't like dogs now because they was raised with. As we were saying about Scorp's kids, man, you know, my brother was a very firm man, okay? And everybody in his household had to help with those dogs, okay? Mm-hmm. And when my brother passed away, that's how I ended up with what he had going on because his wife, okay, and kids and stuff, they didn't want to have no pawns, you know, they didn't want to do it no more because they have been doing it all their life.
Right.
You know, and my brother Gypsy tell you, if he said something, he meant it. You know, he didn't play no damn games at all. You know, He was a very firm man. Like some of the questions you asked me, he'd have cut you out. I'm just keeping it real. He told you, who the fuck you think you is calling my motherfucking phone up? Man, I don't want to talk to your motherfucking, He was a very mean man. And man, I'm totally different. I try to be lenient with people like the puppies I got now. I'm not going $1,500 this time. If they ain't got $2,000 for a male and $2,500 for the female, it's a no-go. But as far as about when I started messing with these dogs, up to 40 years, so I was 14. Okay, he would come to get me, and I would be his guinea pig. And my mama would tell him, why are you doing him like that? You know, that's your little brother. You know, Mama, I'm just trying to teach him something, you know. And, you know, I liked it. And he told me I was a hell of an agitator. And after he showed me what he showed me, he had a school on 41st and Wentworth. If Gypsy hit us, you know what I'm talking about. On the second floor up top. And after my brother showed how to agitate, I ended up Gypsy, you know, because Gypsy was one of the best agitators in the world. So Gypsy taught me a whole lot of things too. You know, as far as about agitation of a dog and things like that, you know. But yeah, the first time my first Panther he gave us, we had one, before we had Zulu, we had Baby, she was red. And we had Baby, I couldn't have been no more than about 12, 13. She was red. And then Baby died at 9 years old, and then my brother brought us Zulu. Now, Baby had a litter back then, and my mama, he made it with this great dog called Fame, okay? Fame come from Mighty Joe and Misty. From JoJo, I think he was JoJo's son, but not Missy wasn't his mama, but he was JoJo's son. His name was Fame. He was a big, black, pretty boy, you know. We let Fame mate with Baby, which was my mama's dog. And my mama had 13 puppies, and back then, you know, we couldn't get no papers and things like that. So we were selling dogs for food stamps and everything, man. You know, when I think about it, it was funny. You know, my mama said, so this man came, he said, well, Miss Jones, I don't have the 500, but I got $350 I got $250 in cash and $250 in stamps. She looked at me and I looked up. we say it's the deal, you know? Yeah, man, you know, by me going all the way back like that, you know, it kind of got me sad, you know?
Yeah.
You know, but, I mean, it is what it is because, you know, every day, somebody gonna die, every day, you know, so.
Yep.
A lot of my people gone, you know what I'm saying? Out of 10 kids, there's only 4 of us left. 6 gone.
Damn.
Yep. And I'm the baby. I'm the last boy. I ain't got no more brothers.
So it's you and 3 sisters.
Me and 3 sisters, yep.
Are any of them involved in the Canis Panther or no?
No, now one of them, they you know what I'm saying? My sisters that passed away, they love dogs. But my sister that's right up over me named Trish, she's 56. I'm 54. She don't like dogs. Because my mama had them. She said she don't want dogs and no cats. I'm telling you, Taylor, all my life, man, we had dogs and cats. It was a dog family. My sister said, when she told my mama, whenever I get my own house, I'll never have a dog or a cat. And she don't like it. She tell me right now today, why you got all them stanky ass dogs, you know? And I'll be like, why would you say that? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't understand you with these damn dogs. I say, look, if I'm a dog lover, as long as they ain't costing you nothing, let me be a dog lover, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but, you know, I got some family members like that love the Panthers, because all my brothers had them. My brother John had one. Her name was Dee Dee. The preacher, he had one. His name was Champ. Before that, he had Pac-Man. Man, we all had them, you know? My sister had one, a big black bitch named Grandma, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, we, you know, they've been around. And then my other sister had one named Zeus.
Okay.
Yep. Everybody in the family had one of these dogs. Except for, I said a few of my siblings, but everybody else, you know, maybe 2 or 3 of my sisters probably said, no dog. You know, but everybody else, you know, not a problem.
How many of Scorpio's kids have Canis Panthers?
None of them.
Why is that?
I told you, they said the same thing.
Same thing?
They got their own place, they'll never get a dog. My brother had at one time like 40 dogs.
Damn.
Yeah, and they had to help him. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They had to clean up dog shit. They had to, you know. They want him, you know. I mean, he tell them, you know what I'm saying? What you put in, that's what you get out. If you don't help, then you don't get nothing. You know.
Right.
And them girls used to get down, man, in the basement, man, and clean the basement and you know, clean up dog shit like dudes. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, when they got older, they just said they didn't want no dogs. You know. And I can't blame them for that. You know.
Yeah. How many of your kids have Panthers?
3.
And how many kids do you have total?
7.
So almost half of your kids ended up getting involved in the breed.
My daughter, see, my son, he's an aviation. He works for the airport. He's a police for the airport, so he works a lot. You know, he just got a house, so
okay.
One of these puppies that just came today, he's finna get a dog.
Okay.
Okay, my daughter Candace, okay, she had Panthers, but she changed the game. She got Candy Cane Bully Land. Candy Cane Land, Bully Land. My daughter got bullies now.
Okay. Standard, miniature, exotic. What does she do?
She got micros. Man, we got Merles and everything. She got bullies and Frenches. I got all white Frenchie named She.
Yeah, you were telling me about her, right?
And all white. I'm to my. You know what I'm saying? And if my brother would have still been living, he'd have been 70. He's been 70 years old.
It's an old man.
Yeah, he's been 70. He's still been living. He's been 70 years old. Because my mama, all her kids are 2 years apart. I'm the baby. I'm 54. My sister Trish, right up over me. She 56. My sister Boop, it's a little split now. My sister Boop would have been 61 in March. And then my sister Alice, 63. And then my sister Mills, before she passed, she died at 47. She'd have been... Shirley, 68, Sister Mills would have been 66, Shirley is 68. And then, you know, then my mama had all boys. It was a Scorpio. Scorpio would have been 70. My brother John would have been 72. And my brother, the last one, just died, the preacher, he'd have made 74. He died the same month of his birthday. His birthday was on 31st of December. He died in December, too. You know, I forgot exactly what date, you know, but he died in December. You know what I'm saying? I'm the only boy that's left. I'm the only boy that's left out of my mama's sons. And I got 3 sisters that's left. It was 10 of us. It's 4 of us left. Three girls and 1 boy. My mama got 3 sons dead and 3 daughters dead.
Damn. Your mama's not around anymore?
No, my mom died at 94. My mom died, my father died when I was 11. Scorpio raised. My mama had 5 sets of kids. She had 5 that was grown when I was born. I'm an uncle. I got nieces and nephews older than my older sister had Mary, Dana, and Joe. And bam, when she had 4 kids, already my mom had me. I already had nieces and nephews. I was born an uncle. You know, and that's why, you know, when a lot of things that I do, my niece she gets so emotional, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, she tell me, which is his daughter, she'll say, man, I wish my daddy was here to see what you doing, Uncle Tim, you know? And like I said, you know what I'm saying? That's why I fight hard to keep what's going on, man. Because, you know, this ain't nothing that my brother was trying. This ain't nothing he was trying to do. This was something that he done. And, you know what I'm saying? By him doing what he done, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, until I can't do it no more. You understand what I'm saying? And my brother kept talking to me in my dreams, telling me don't let him down. And I'm trying to find me somebody that's a dog man in my family, which one of my nieces and nephews, if something happened to me, well, they can keep it going. You know, that's one of the things, you know what I'm saying? That's one of my theories, you know what I'm saying? Trying to keep his legacy going. And like I say, everybody claim to have a Panther, everybody claim to do this, but at the end of the day, I'm Scorp's brother, you know. I got 2 puppies right now that's 8 months, but they hot, Taylor. I'm trying to just get away for $250 a piece, which is Panther presses, Taylor. Little Larry Hoover dogs.
Did you say little Edgar Hoover dogs?
This is what I'm telling you about. I swear 120 pounds. I swear to God, Taylor. 8 months, 120 pounds. And then Bella, he got a Bella too. She was like 100 pounds. But he called me yesterday. I'm trying to find somebody that I can get the dogs to that's going to take care of the dogs. They can give me a little bit of something. But the only thing about these, he never got the years.
Gypsy did.
My brother, you know, Gypsy was a dog trainer. Which Gypsy taught me how to train dogs, okay?
Right.
And my brother was the brain. Boy was smart, okay? He's a very brilliant man. He built, he drew, you know what I'm saying, just the whole nine. He was, you know, he would call me at 2 and 3 in the morning and tell me some of his ideas. And I'd be like, Scorp, man, it's 3 in the morning, what the fuck, man? He'd be like, Tim, I'm just thinking about money, man. I can't go to sleep. He said, bro, look, man, we got to get this money, man. He said, man, goddamn it, we got to be rich. And, you know, and I regret it because a couple of times I want to answer the phone for him. Because it was 5 in the morning, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. I'm like, man, I'm tired. I done worked all day. Now you want to call me? But he was preparing me for this day.
Right.
I really believe he knew at some point he was getting ready to leave this earth, and he was preparing me to get ready for the future. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes when I think about it, it makes me kind of emotional, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, my brother was like my father. All he ever wanted from me is just to be right. You know what I'm saying? He used to always tell me, man, you don't know who you is, you know? And it took me to get in my 50s to really realize, Taylor, who I am, okay? And who I am, I'm Scorp's little brother, and as long as I'm here, the Panther will not die, okay?
Good.
So, you know, and he, you know, sometimes when I get ready, I get tired. I'll be like telling my wife sometimes, I'm tired of these motherfucking dogs, and you know, we spend all this money on dog food. I'm tired of going to clean up behind this, that. My brother come to me playing this day and say, you better not give up. You know, sometimes, me and my wife, our dog food bill $5,000 a month.
Holy shit.
You right, holy shit. But these dogs, man, I'm talking about, we got our own veterinary we take them to. And, man, you know what I'm saying, he comes to the house if he have to. It's the same veterinary that Scorp mess with, which is Dr. Frederick. And Dr. Frederick would tell you, I've been knowing Tim since he was 14. I'm 54. So that's 40 years. And these were Scorp's veterinaries, and Scorp sent it back down the line to me. And to this day, I got a relationship with these people, man. We ain't changed nothing. Everything like Scorp had it, that's how we got it. We never changed nothing. You know, my brother was a main man, you know. And like I said, you know, he made me promise him, when he died, you know, because he was very angry, man. He was angry at Gypsy, you know, and things like that. And that's one of the reasons why at his funeral, Gypsy was there. And I told him, I said, for all you people that think the Panther game is over, it's not.
Why was Scorpio angry with Gypsy?
Because he had son Gypsy and Lori them dogs. Cause in the city of Chicago, somebody kept calling animal patrol on him. He would never let him, my brother, like I said, he was a mean guy. He would tell them to get the fuck from in front of his house. Get the fuck from in front of my goddamn house. I ain't showing y'all shit. So finally, my mama talked to him and said, Cleo, let them see, one of the dogs. And so he brought Tupac out. They was like, wow, what the, but the people told him, yeah, but you got too many dogs,
Mm-hmm.
So what he done, by him and Gypsy being buddies, he took maybe 10 dogs and gave them to Gypsy, which was Chief and a couple of more, okay?
Okay.
He gave them to Gypsy. When he gave them to Gypsy, Laurie and Gypsy called themselves coming to his house and telling him what he needed to do. And he told them to get the fuck out of his house. He told them, I gave y'all these motherfucking dogs. How the fuck you gonna come and tell me how to run my shit? And from that day till he died, he told me, he said, Tim, I said, what? Don't you never in your motherfucking life mess with Gypsy. Because in other words, he was saying Gypsy let a white lady turn him against him. And all the shit he had done for Gypsy. You know what I'm saying? My brother played Gypsy Red. He got, back then Gypsy was doing things they ain't had no business doing. And, which we all, when you're young, you do stupid shit, but
Mm-hmm.
my brother, he was very angry. And he didn't talk to Gypsy no more.
So they just never talked after that?
Maybe they were running to each other at shows and things like that, but he really didn't, he didn't socialize with them. Like, they was like the best of friends, man.
Until that happened.
If you see Scorp, you see Gypsy. Gypsy tell you about Scorp. My brother had some badass German Shepherds before he got Panthers. He had Arius and Jaws. Man, you talking about, man, these motherfucking Shepherds, man, he make Jaws crawl, spit out meat. Man, the dog would climb up the tree and grab a limb, and he'd make them hold on to that bitch for 35, 40 minutes without letting it go. Yeah, my brother was a hellified dog trainer. Some of the shit to this day that he done, I'm still trying to do. Because he can make a dog do any motherfucking thing.
Was Gypsy at Scorpio's funeral?
Yeah, he was there. Well, I never said Gypsy didn't love him. I know he loved him because they was friends. They was the best of friends. But it was just an angry issue there because we knew the situation. And, by that being my brother, I'm angry if he told me somebody done him wrong. So, you know how that go.
Yeah, you got to stick with your brother. That makes sense.
I got to stick with my brother. Now you talking. That was one of the issues. Like I said, but to this day, I don't have no problem with Gypsy, and if I saw my husband, but, he gonna do his thing and I'm gonna do mine. And the best man win.
So your brother died in about 2009, Scorpio. Yes. Did he have a will that who did he leave his dogs to, and how did you pick up his last dogs?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, what I'm saying, he didn't have no will. But I promised him on his dying bed. He asked me, he said, Tim, I said, what? He said, I left you something, man. And I promised him, and I've been doing it from that day to this day. Because my brother's legacy will live on. If Gypsy was at the front, he'll tell you what I said. I said his legacy will live on. Yep, and it's been on from that day to this day. Even before he died, I was breathing. You know what I'm saying? Remember I told you I had to make the dogs back bigger, and he got mad at me. And then he got the contract with the people over in China. Then he called me back and said, hey man, bring me all them motherfucking puppies. You know what I'm saying? I said, bring you all my puppies. He was like, yeah, bring me all them motherfucking puppies, man. I said, no, I can't bring you all my puppies, man. And he was like, you gonna get some, you know what I'm saying? So I took him 2 bitches and he gave me $2,500, you know what I'm saying? They was his dogs anyway, but my brother had just done he had done $1 million contract with the people overseas. And he died. And after they found out he died, they breached the contract.
Damn. So nobody in China, as far as you know, has Canis Panthers right now?
I don't know if it's still over there, but I know they said they was going to use them as military dogs.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and I went to the airport, the Chinese man, we took the dogs. A Chinese man gave him a suitcase. When he opened that suitcase, it fucking blew me. He had like $500,000. Yep. For about 8 or 9 dogs. He sold his dog for $25,000 a piece.
So after Scorpio died, you told me that he he had a house that he owned, and you had to pay the property tax on it, but you ended up cleaning out the house, and you found some things in there. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, you know, a lot of things I found in there. I found some dead dogs, man. What, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that his wife them had left. You know, he had a marvelous dog in the name Bull. That was one of the last dogs he had. And I was feeding Bull and taking care of Bull, but my niece, which was Scorpio, she really didn't want me to have the property. So what she done, she called the city on me. And when she called the city on me, they came and said the dogs was being neglected, things like that, which they wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And she authorized them to take the dogs, you know?
Right.
You know, but she had here Bull. But they took my dogs, which was Shyster, Chaos, and Smoke. I had three of them down there. And they took the dogs and they left Bull in the house. I'm thinking they took him with them somewhere. When we was gutting the house out, I found Bull and a couple of more dogs. Just the bone, all the bone, you know?
Say that again?
I found about 3 dogs, just the bones of the dogs.
Just the bones of the dogs. You found them in Scorpio's house?
Yes.
Holy shit.
And that really hurted me, you know, that they left the dog like that when they could have just told me, Uncle Tim, take care of the dog or do whatever it is that you need to do. But they didn't. So,
right.
When I saw that right there kind of discouraged me. And I came across a little money, and I could any other property in the world, but I decided to keep my brother's property.
Right. You still own that property to this day, don't you?
Yes, I do.
That's awesome. And why was she trying to keep the dogs from you?
I mean, for some apparent reason. I mean, you know, people like that, Taylor. You know, I mean, they feel like, you know, I mean, nobody have. Ain't nobody gonna take my dad's shit over. That's how she felt, you know. But
right.
What she understand is that when you in some, and I promised my brother some, because I guess my brother really knew that was gonna happen. That's why he told me on his dying bed what he told me. He said, I want you. I left you some. He said, and I want you to do what you're supposed to do. Okay? And I told my wife, I said, damn, I'm not ready for this. She said, yes, you is. You know?
You had to be.
And I've been doing it, man. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Thankfully, you know?
So when you found those bones, could you figure out how they died? Like, did it look like they were shot, or?
No, he starved to death.
They starved to death.
Yep, he either starved to death or froze to death, one of the two.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, you should have saw this dog, man. He was fucking incredible. His name was Bull. Yep. Do
you have any of his puppies?
I had Blackjack, and I had Blackjack, and I had a Bluebeard. I had to put Blackjack down, which I got puppies off Blackjack. But I had to put him down because he had a syndrome called the wobbles. And, you know, Dr. Frederick told me it wasn't going to get no better. He said the dog is suffering. You know, it's like he couldn't stand. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? When he stand, he'd be wobbling. Like, you know. So right. I had to get him put down.
And you got puppies off of him. Do you have any of those puppies still?
No, you know what I'm saying? I have puppies off them. Which is somewhere in this line, somewhere, man. You know what I'm saying? I really can't tell you. Let's not look at the paper. But it's his puppies. He got puppies in the line.
Okay.
I know that for a fact. You know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but he was a nice looking dog, too. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, you know what I'm saying? After I bred him a few times. Well, he couldn't even breed. I had to get stimulation. You know, so... You know, I got semen to have the doctor put it in the female because he could never mount up. It's like when he get on the female back, he couldn't mount up with her. You know? So I knew the best thing to do was just go ahead and get semen from him and put it in the female, you know? So that's what I done, you know what I'm saying? And then after 5 or 6 years went past, they got the wobbles, whatever he had, it got bad. I took him to the doctor. The doctor told me, he said, man, look, he's suffering. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I had him put down. It hurted me and my wife tried hard. Because, you know, when you get attached to a dog, you know, they're like your kid, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely, man.
Right, so, yeah, we put him down, though.
You know, you did what you felt was right for him, you know? It'd be kind of selfish to keep him alive just so you don't have to deal with the pain.
I didn't just show up, brother. I was there. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, this sounds like an exercise in futility, okay? Because there is real, there is documented, there is historic, and then there is imagined.
Right. And
because if she has admitted that, then she has delegitimized herself. Anyone any person who is in the dog world will know that if you take a German Shepherd and breed it to a Mastiff, there's no longer a German Shepherd.
Right.
Anyone.
Yep.
So how is it? Do you understand?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
To even discuss that helps them to establish some legitimacy.
Did you grow up in Chicago?
Yes, I did.
And how old are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
70 years old. I was born there. I was born in Cook County Hospital. That's on the west side of Chicago. The west side of Chicago is the only place worse than the south side.
Did you grow up with any dogs?
Yep.
What kind of dogs
I found out what a dog was about when I was a child. It's in my book.
How often do you breed?
Whenever nature allows it. I don't force it.
Okay.
I'm not trying to populate the world with Canis Panthers. I'd rather
not.
I don't want to see a Canis Panther in every yard. I don't want that to happen.
That's fair. And, you know, I think that getting popular is one road to destruction for a breed. That's what happened with
the... certainly is.
Yep.
I've never tried to make it popular. See, I don't care about popularity.
Right.
I care about correctness. I'm much more interested in being correct than I am in being popular.
There's rumors that the Canis Panther was used for dogfighting.
No.
To your knowledge, has that ever happened?
Not to my knowledge. Okay. I haven't ever been involved with dogfighting. Ever. Not once. Ever. I cry with dogfight. I cry when a dog is killing a pig. I cry. Dogs are for people. Bad guys. Ain't no dog come to rape my wife or steal from my house. Bad guys do that. That's what dogs are for. That's not what the Canis Panther's for. The Canis Panther is to keep motherfuckers out of your house and out of your face. I can't say that any clearer. That's why I put the word motherfucker in.
I appreciate that.
They were created in Inglewood. You know anything about Inglewood, Chicago, south side of Chicago?
I don't. I've only heard about Inglewood, Los Angeles.
Inglewood, south side of Chicago is probably a lot more dangerous than Los Angeles.
Well, why don't you tell me about the area?
It's dangerous. A lot of gangs, drugs. Drugs make people break in people's houses. A lot of macho men that a lot of times that manifests itself in being abusive to women. And so it was a very dangerous environment. But it also had a lot of people in it who just wanted to live and let live.
Right.
Those people need something that makes other people change their mind. And that's what a Canis Panther does. It makes you change your mind.
Has Chicago always been as dangerous as it is today?
As far as I know, yes. I live in Momence, Illinois. I'm looking out over a cornfield right now. I can look all the way to the Indiana border.
I'm guessing you prefer that to Chicago.
I do, because I don't have to be worried all the time. That somebody's going to try to, while I'm at church or while I'm at work, somebody's going to be trying to go in my house. or that people are going to disrespect my house and sell drugs in front of it. I don't have to worry about that.
Right.
I'll tell you this. No one, not Scorp, not Tim, not the guy from down south, what's his name
Chris
again?
Tucker.
Chris Tucker. No human being has trained more Canis Panthers than me. No one. Since Scorp died, no one has bred more Canis Panthers than my wife. No one. We sold dogs to China. We sold dogs to Dubai. We sold dogs to Afghanistan. We have sold dogs to Mexico, to the islands. But you sat there and you listened to these conversations. And being an intelligent man, you did not say, hey, JD, you ain't did shit. Chris Tucker, you haven't done nothing. Tim, what have you done? Tim has done has his mother named him Tim, with Jones behind it. Because Tim didn't train no dogs. See, I remember Tim when he was a kid, a child. I didn't just show up, brother. I was there.
Right.
He wasn't no dog trainer. He wasn't no breeder. I remember at Scorpio's funeral, Tim stood up there on the stage and said, I am the new Scorpio. And I gasped. I'm like, what? Because his brother was a great man and a great dog man.
I told you Gypsy fucked up with the family. Come on, Taylor, if he did, man, why ain't he supporting the family?
I don't know.
The only thing that say Gypsy was Laura. The idea that Laura never came up with, Gypsy would have never came up with it because he get high. Okay? And then they showed him how to get a little money, and they took it and ran with it, man. They fucked up my brother. Rock of Ages should never be on the map, man. Under no circumstances.
Did Gypsy go to Scorpio's funeral?
Yeah, he came, but I'm glad I ain't seen him. Because I was hurt that day, because I got up there and told Scorp's wife and his kids, I know my brother gone. I said, but this Panther thing will never stop.
And I used to see Scorp beg his brother, Tim, I need some help. Come over here and help me. And Tim's like, I'm not doing no work.
And so your opinion of Scorpio is quite high.
Huh?
So your opinion of Scorpio is quite high because he was working.
Man, Scorpio is the king of men.
Okay.
The king. You've heard me. If you've heard any documentaries, my first words of Scorpio deserves the credit. If you listen to me, or if you've read anything that I've written, then you've heard, then you know that already. I spent every day of my life with Scorpio.
How did you guys meet?
We met in Earl Jones's dog school. I was an apprentice under Earl Jones when Scorpio walked into his school with Aries, German Shepherd.
Are you available to continue our interview?
When you call, you should always tell me who you are, so I can remember your name.
My name is Taylor.
Okay, Taylor. Now, my wife asked me, did you ask Taylor if he's recording this conversation? And I told her no. So I'll ask you now, did you record us yesterday?
I did, and I can delete that if you want. And I'm...
Wait a minute, Taylor.
Well, I did bring it up in the beginning.
Taylor, no. You did never even indicate that you were actively recording our conversation. So I hope you publish that conversation because I told you yesterday, I tell the truth all the time. Taylor, you were in a cabal of people who tried to discredit me, to devalue me, to replace me.
Right.
And then you come with the same type of subterfuge as those people in that cabal. How can I trust you? I have volumes to say. I've been training dogs 50 years. At no time did you say, I'm recording this conversation.
Since it didn't happen yesterday, I was going to tell you today.
Okay.
which is why I answered truthfully when you asked me. And I'm glad you brought it up in the beginning so we could get that out of the way.
Okay.
Is that okay with you?
It's an explanation that, to some degree.
Okay.
I'll have to accept it because I'm not there to hit you upside the head.
Would you like me to hit myself upside the head for you?
No,
Okay.
I know how to do it.
Okay.
I thought I could speak to you openly and truthfully the way I do anybody until I realized they're an adversary. I forgave you for being an adversary before you ever talked to me or encountered me.
Okay.
Anywhere you go, my number is accessible. It's been the same number for 25 years.
I didn't know
So
that.
if you were really interested in my side of things, why didn't you just call me? Why didn't you ask JD for my phone number?
Okay. So I'm going to tell... You wanted me to be honest with you. So I'm going to tell you...
I think you want to be honest with me. Go ahead.
I do want to be honest. I prefer to be honest.
Here's the opportunity. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So there's two things. One, I messaged you on Facebook, and you're not about that. That's fine. And when you didn't answer, so then I went to Lori, and Lori, I feel like she felt skeptical about my intention, so she didn't answer me. And then when I got my male Canis Panther, Heisenberg, the breeder he came from had mentioned that they believed you would not talk to a white man. You would talk to...
My wife is white.
I know.
So didn't that just make you say to that person, you're an idiot? His wife is white.
Well, I did, and she specified that it's white men that you have an issue with. You'll talk to white women. You'll talk to anybody.
Come on.
Yeah.
And so you believe that?
I didn't believe it.
You believed it.
No, I didn't believe it.
For you accepting that from
No.
someone. If somebody told me that about you, I would have to question them.
Right, and I did question it. I did.
What is your evidence of that?
I did. But then I messaged you on Facebook and you never replied, so then I assumed that it was true.
All it takes is a phone call. That's how you talk. Now your feelings, if you have feelings, are legitimate. And I'm not making you anything. You should have felt that way before you did it. Unless you laugh to yourself maniacally. Oh, I'm this guy.
No, I never laughed to myself maniacally about you.
It could. Well, there's nothing funny about me, man. I just can't. I can't understand that. If somebody told me that you wouldn't talk to a black man, I would say, how do you know that?
Right.
Have you ever tried to talk to this man? And then I would say, why are you saying that? If you haven't talked to this man, if you've never attempted to talk to Gypsy, then why are you saying it? What is your motive? I'll tell you why. Because no matter what race you are, there's a criminal around you.
Mm-hmm.
White people get broke in all the time.
Yep.
By other white people.
Yeah.
Spanish people get broke in all the time by other Spanish people. Asian people get broke in. They get molested. They get attacked. That has nothing to do with race whatsoever.
Right.
That is a human condition. About some people are honest and hardworking, and other people are thieves and connivers and manipulators. What I try to do is be honest all the time. That takes effort.
It does.
To be honest, to be real, and to be merciful. It takes effort.
How do you feel that other people are getting their dogs from you and then they're breeding them and... Now, let's assume they give you credit, but how does it make you...
This is America. All I can do is control what I can control. I can't burn brain cells or get an ulcer based on what someone else does. If that was the case, how would I live? How would I have any happiness?
No, you wouldn't.
That's right.
Too many bad people out there.
And I don't allow people to control me.
Um,
Now, my wife, she can control me. Yes. My wife might control me.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But no one else.
That's the wife's job, isn't it?
Thank God for it.
Yeah, sometimes they get on our nerves, but they keep us safe at the same time.
That's right. A good wife raises a man.
I never thought about it like that.
I was going to tell you, write that down.
You will literally help anybody.
Anybody.
As long as it's dogs.
Everybody needs to be protected. No one can tell you any different. And I think in the future you should say, when people have something bad to say about me, you should say, well, have you ever talked to Gypsy? Because even after I found out you called here with subterfuge, I'm still talking to you.
Right.
Even after I knew you were part of the cabal that was trying to destroy me, I still talk to you.
Right.
Didn't I? Yeah. So in the future, or go back to the people who told you that and ask them, why would you tell me something like that? Have you ever talked to the man? Never lied to him? Never discriminated against him? What I didn't do was allow him to become the middleman, the broker for the Canis Panther breed. And that was his desire. That's what he expressed to me.
Do you know why he approached you about that to begin with? Like, did he...
Because he saw my dog. And he knew I had a bunch of them. And they all looked great. And something must have went through his head. Boy, this guy, he's just a farmer. He don't know what he's got. I can turn this into a bonanza.
I'm guessing you're not trying to get rich off of the dogs, either.
Man, hell no.
Okay.
It's like trying to get rich off no dogs. You can't get rich off no pigs. He thinks you can. But in order for him to do that, he would have to eliminate me. Because the simple question that anybody with any logical mind would say, well, JD, where'd you get your dog? Oh, I got him from, Gypsy. And they would say to the lady out in California, NorCal, well, where'd you get your dog?
Gypsy.
Well, actually, I got him from Bill. Well, where'd Bill get him? Oh, he got him from Gypsy. Who told you I don't talk to white men? That's the craziest. Who told you that?
It was a rumor of a rumor. So when I went and got Heisenberg, that was coming from Sarika. She had gotten a dog, Klaus, from...
Bill Ellinger, who was a white man, who came to my house.
Okay.
Who I talked to just 3 weeks ago.
Now, you know what? Maybe...
If Bill Ellinger's a white man, and she got her dog from him, how could that rumor exist?
Well, so my understanding was that, like, Bill Ellinger just kind of had, like, an exception with you just because of his experience or whatever.
What type of exception? What type of exception?
Well, maybe you make exceptions for exceptional dog trainers. I don't know. But I just got an idea. Maybe she said that so that I wouldn't approach you, so she could keep a monopoly on the information. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Yeah, really. Now that you've talked to me, of course it makes sense. I don't have a problem. Bill Ellinger is one of my guys. If you've gone to my site, you've seen Bill Ellinger in front of my dog, Chief Little Dog. And on the caption says, I want to thank Bill Ellinger so much.
Mm-hmm.
He's the first person to fire my dog up. If I didn't get along with white men, why would I give him that kind of credit?
You wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
You've given me a lot to think about here. So how many dogs did Scorpio give you?
I got dogs from Scorpio and Lucas Lopez. Lucas Lopez got sick. He sent his dogs to me, Jim McCoy, when he picked them up. Brought them right here to Rock of Ages Kennel.
So I always see Lucas Lopez mentioned in the breed of history, but nobody seems to know what he actually did. Can you...
You mean to tell me Tim didn't say all that? Tim didn't give you the historical background on Lucas Lopez? I wonder why.
I haven't fully interviewed Tim yet. I've only got a little bit.
Have you ever talked to him at all?
I don't know.
Oh, well, you don't know if you've talked to Tim at all.
Well, I've talked to Tim, but I don't know if Tim talked to Mr. Lopez.
Of course he did. Lucas was at Scorp's house every other day.
Did he get along with Tim or no?
Tim was a kid.
Okay.
Men don't get along with kids.
So, what was Mr. Lopez doing with Scorpio for the Canis Panther?
Luke was a great resource and backstop for Scorp.
For training or breeding, or
No, he never trained anything.
was he a source on?
Breeding. Just breeding. He was somebody Scorp could trust.
Was he a source
Somebody I trust because I saw him every other day.
What dogs did he bring in that Scorpio didn't?
What dogs did he bring in? No, he didn't bring any in. He was a caretaker of dogs.
Okay.
And bred dogs that Scorp and or I gave an okay to. He was a backstop.
Okay.
And a governor, let's say. That
So
could trust, because other people can't be trusted.
right.
They see something good, they see somebody making $1 from something good, then they want to take it.
So
You couldn't take it from Luke.
that's good.
Luke had a great job. He didn't need money. He was a very honest man, simple and honest. And that's why him and Scorp were able to collaborate for as long as they did, till Scorp died.
So Scorpio was the breeder, you were the trainer, and Mr. Lopez was
Breeder.
okay.
And Scorpio was more than a breeder. He was a force of nature. One of the greatest men I've ever known.
Can you tell me why that is?
Dog man. What?
Can you tell me why that is?
Why he was so great?
Yeah.
I think it was because of his mother, to be honest.
She had a pretty high standard for him.
She was a very loving mother. Must have taught him a lot. She taught all of the kids a lot. But he was a lot of man. A lot. More than any other man I've ever known.
I do appreciate you taking your time
Forgiving
to...
you appreciate me forgiving you and still talking to you?
I appreciate
even though
that,
you
yes.
deceived me in our initial encounter?
Yes, and I'm
Now,
still
why
sorry
do you
about
think
that.
I did that? Why do you think I forgave you?
I'm not sure, but I'm going to guess.
It's not because I'm hungry for publicity.
Right.
It ain't because I'm hungry to do a documentary. I've been asked many times by many people to do documentaries. Yeah, I'm not needy like that.
I think it's because you like to see the good in people.
That's partial.
Okay.
It's partial.
And maybe...
Because I knew that you've been misinformed. That's why I was able to forgive you. Because
Right.
you've been misinformed. And you were also misguided. You cannot account for what other people do. And that's why I don't get on the internet and say, he didn't do such and such. He did that, he did. No, I don't do that. I can't account for that. All I can account for is myself. And I don't make enemies of people. People have to make themselves an enemy of mine. See, you make an enemy, you have to be a friend. Being a friend is an ongoing proposition. You only need one thing to make an enemy. And once you've made an enemy, they are an enemy. But a friend is something you have to be going forward. You don't make a friend just because you meet someone. So I'm not into making enemies or friends. You're going to either see the value of associating with me or you're not.
Right.
Then we'll find out enemy or friend. Obviously, JD saw some value in being associated with me because he was able to come and get a dog that he dreamed big about and a breed that he thought was quite special. But then he decided he was going to take it over. To do that, I'm not a guy you can just eliminate.
You know, what are your thoughts? Maybe Tim went to some people that you and Scorpio had decided were not worthy.
Scorpio made his decisions. I have always had a single mind, tunnel vision. And everything and anything to do with the Panthers, I discussed with Scorpio. And yes, he would say, I don't like this person. Don't fuck with that person. I would say, okay, and that's it.
I really don't deserve to be in the documentary this early, but so you can put a face to the name. My name is Taylor. I'm the person who created this documentary. I've worked with animals my whole life. I've lived on several farms, and I've been in the Canis Panther world for about 7 years now. I met my first Canis Panther when I bought Ripley, and I got her through Lori from Rock of Ages. That's Gypsy's wife. And they have been representing the breed for about 30 years now. I think their earliest online presence is somewhere around 2008 was when their first copyright was issued. And then I was also friends and then for a while dating Kristen, who was the head of the Doberman Outcross project. And she eventually started to get involved in the Canis Panthers as well. And she has a background in investigations. So she was very helpful in forming some other connections, and that is how I ultimately found Tim, was through Kristen. And ever since I was aware of the Canis Panther and that it didn't have a club or any sort of major representation, I've always wanted to make a club for the breed, and I've always wanted to make a documentary. And because of, like work circumstances, stuff like that, I just didn't have the time early on. And then in early 2020, JD approached me about breeding my female Canis Panther on my kennel page. And from there we started talking, and that was where the idea of starting the CPCA came from. So I joined with him and his efforts to get that started, and I thought that would be a productive arrangement, but as you'll see later, that has become a problem. But we started the CPCA, which is the Canis Panther Club of America, to try to, at least my plan was to represent the Canis Panther and help build it into something more established, more official, and healthy, because we didn't know how deep the gene pool was. We didn't know how wide it was. We weren't even sure that the founding breeds were what we were told they were. But after genetic testing, we've seen that everything Gypsy said was accurate according to the tests. And there are other Panther projects that don't match that. But what we do know is that what Gypsy said is in the dogs was exactly what was in his dogs. But at some point, JD, and I, as Gypsy addresses earlier in this documentary, I did kind of go along with this. And so JD started this campaign against Gypsy, and it started as like a health testing thing. It's like, why aren't you health testing? You're refusing to health test, therefore, blah, 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 whatever. And we were finding some health issues like von Willebrand's, which is a bleeding disorder, and HUU, which is a kidney stone disorder. But like Gypsy also says later on, HUU doesn't guarantee that you get kidney stones. HUU is a high probability, but depending on the diet, depending on the water, and some other circumstances, you can mitigate that and not even know that you're mitigating it. And then same thing with von Willebrand's. My male pit panther, Heisenberg, he has both copies of von Willebrand's, and he's had some pretty severe injuries, but he's never bled to death. So he bleeds more than an average dog, but it's not obviously a death sentence. And so with the club, what we wanted to do was develop a management system for the breed to help control those health issues and help breed those down. But we didn't know the extent of the gene pool we were working with, and every dog that we looked at the pedigrees on were all going back to a fairly narrow selection of dogs. So it was my assumption, and I believe the assumption of other members of the club, that the breed had a relatively shallow gene pool. And that implies that it's going to be more difficult to get rid of those health issues, because it's like if this dog has both copies of von Willebrand's and this other dog has similar ancestry, the chances of this dog having 1 or 0 copies is lower. And so then it's like if all of his cousins are in that same situation, you're just going to create more carriers, and then that guarantees more clear dogs down the line, but it also guarantees more affected dogs, and it means a large number of carriers. And so my approach was to introduce some new dogs as we go. That was one of the reasons why I kept my Dogo mix. And other people's solutions were kind of in line with that, except there was a divide on whether or not you want to add a new breed, like the Dogo Argentino or an Airedale Terrier or Schnauzers, some similar protection type breeds or breeds that have something to offer, and then you can breed back for that temperament. And then the other part of the discussion was, instead of doing that, why don't we just keep breeding in more founding breeds? And I think both of them are legitimate. In fact, I have a friend who's publishing a study on the genetics of the Doberman, and her determinations for genetics are that whether you do outcrossing or careful backbreeding, in other words, outcrossing or breeding that breed to that breed. So a Doberman outcross or just Dobermans to Dobermans. Both ways are equally effective, according to her research, in mitigating a health issue. But if you want to deepen a gene pool very quickly, then going to a very different breed is the better option. But the caveat to that is that you could also be introducing additional health issues. And so you have to be careful when you're doing even that. Now, what's interesting is I was never criticized for the risk of bringing in additional health issues. Not one person has brought up the idea to me that I could be creating deaf Canis Panthers with my Dogo mixes. Now, maybe it's because they already know that that's not going to happen, because in Dogos, it's pigment-related deafness. So as long as I don't have white Canis Panthers, then I won't have deaf Canis Panthers. But it's still something that a layman would probably have a concern about. So the gravity of the other side of the discussion, the one that has been opposing me, is more about legitimacy. It's like, the Canis Panther is an established breed, but if we want to outcross, we should take it only to founding breeds. And so it's like, if you're mixing breeds, you're mixing breeds. So if you consider the Panther breeding true, it's just like the Dogo. The Dogo has Great Dane in the ancestry. If I breed a Dogo to a Dane, that's now a mix. And I cover this a little bit later in the documentary. It's just, I'm being repetitive because it's frustrating. It's a Dogo mix. It's a Dogo Dane mix. And so if I do the same thing with a Panther, that's now a mix. But certain people insisted that crossing a Canis Panther outside of its own breed to a founding breed is superior to breeding it to a non-founding breed. In other words, if I bred a Dogo Argentino to a Great Dane, that's better than if I cross it to a Doberman, which doesn't make any sense, because if you look at an established breed like the Dogo, whether you breed it to a Doberman or a Great Dane, one a founding breed, one not, you're still creating a Dogo mix. You're still depleting that scaffold that makes the Dogo Argentino unique and special. And so if I take a Canis Panther, if it is a solid independent breed, and breed it to supposedly an inferior Great Dane, I'm not doing anything legitimate. I'm still watering down the concentrated genetics of the Canis Panther. And that is something that Gypsy brought up. It's like, this is a line-bred dog. We've been working on concentrating specific traits from each of the founding breeds. So if I breed in more Great Dane, sure, I might help re-emphasize the size, but now I'm going to be depleting the traits that the Labrador, the American Pit Bull Terrier, and the Doberman brought in that make the Canis Panther special. And that's why you don't see anybody mixing Dogos with Great Danes. Because the Great Dane, it's got a lot of size, it's got a lot of advantages, but there's certain things that the Great Dane cannot do that the Dogo can, because the Dogo's getting traits from other places. And it's the same thing with the Canis Panther. And so the logic that some people bring to that discussion just doesn't make sense. Now, I'm not saying that my Dogo mixes are inherently better, but I do think the Dogo has a lot to offer, and that was another reason why I kept the Dogo mix. But that's the only Dogo I've created in my gene pool. So breeding that in and then keeping the enhanced musculature, the heavier bone structure, some of those things that the Great Dane might be bringing in, I feel like the end result's going to be the same. And you can demonstrate that in a scientific sense.
theoretically and practically, this has been done before. It's just a matter of what dogs you keep, what dogs you select for, and the Dogo's a very stubborn dog, very hard-headed, they can have a temper. Those things need to be bred out. But the pain tolerance, the tenacity, the cardiovascular system, the respiratory system, these are all things the Dogo has that are very, very good. And where we already have a shallow gene pool, and some people are heavily line breeding off of 1 or 2 individual dogs, then you're not just going to emphasize the good genetics, you're also going to emphasize the bad. And that's a problem. So you need to deepen the gene pool at the same time as you're trying to concentrate the positives, because you want to make sure that you are only concentrating the positives, which is a really hard thing to do. So long story short, this is what the CPCA was trying to do, and this is where the CPCA started to dissolve, was the inability of its members to agree on genetic processes and to agree on practices and their legitimacy. There was a perceived legitimacy deficit in my actions, and there was a perceived legitimacy deficit in other people's morals. In other words, why they said they were doing those things didn't make sense to me. And so I felt that they were deficient, and then because of what I did, they felt that I was deficient. And so the club as a whole just is totally dysfunctional from there. Now that I've left, and I left technically because I was voted out, but I was already planning on leaving. So, it is what it is. But the people remaining in the club are either inactive, and the ones that are active are people that we're going to touch on later who have these connections and patterns of behavior that are unbecoming of a breed club.